friends. It's time for Crosspoint Kids activity time again. Oh, I'm so excited to be with you. I'm Pastor John, and we have another great set of videos for you from all your favorite Crosspoint Kids leaders. So today's word has to do with something that's really important to you, something you learned from the very beginning of your life, especially if you have brothers or sisters. Can you guess what this word is? It starts with shh and ends with air. Can you guess what it is? It's share. Not singer, but sharing. Do you guys know what sharing is? Have you ever had to share a toy? What do you think? What's your favorite toy? Will you tell me? And have you ever had to share that toy with somebody else? That means letting them have it, right? Not to keep necessarily, but to play with and to love, just like you do. Sharing can be a really fun thing, but sometimes it's hard. Was it hard to share that favorite toy with someone? You might have felt like you wanted to keep it to yourself, that you wanted to play with it, but your mom or your dad or your grown-up said, why don't you share it with your brother or with your sister or with your friend? And when you did they enjoy it? Did they like it? I bet they did, just as much as you did. You see, sharing is how you show you care for other people. And in our story today, you're going to see how a little boy was able to share his lunch and feed thousands of people. Well, it wasn't because of the little boy. Guess who was the one that did that? You know it. You want to say his name? Go ahead. On the count of three, we're going to say Jesus. On 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Jesus! All right, yes. So, great story coming up. Great songs, some crafts, and some games. Get ready to learn more about how sharing shows that you care.
Hi, Crosspoint Kids. It's your friend Audrey here, and I've brought my husband Tyler today to help us out with the song. We are learning
Down in My Heart.
Thank you. We're going to sing it one time through slowly so you can learn the motions, and then a second time a little bit quicker so we can sing it all together. Are you ready? I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. Good job. All right, we're going to do a little bit faster now. You ready? I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. Good job, guys. We love you so much, but now it's story time.
Hi everybody, Miss Stephanie here with this week's story. We'll be reading this week from the Jesus Storybook Bible. I know a lot of you are familiar with this book. If you're not, I highly recommend thinking about adding it to your at-home library. If you do have this book at home, we'll be starting on page 244 with a story called Filled Full. Once there were 5,000 tired and hungry and probably very grumpy people sitting on a hillside wanting their dinner. They'd come to hear Jesus that day. They came before breakfast, stayed all morning, all afternoon, and way past dinner. No one had meant to be out there that long, but that's how it was listening to Jesus, as if time didn't exist. People could listen to Jesus for hours, and on this particular day, that's exactly what they did. But they hadn't brought enough food, and they couldn't just go buy themselves a burger and fries, because of course they were in the middle of nowhere and no shops or restaurants were there. Besides, that kind of food wasn't invented yet. What would they do? Jesus' friends had an idea. Let's send everyone home for dinner. They don't need to go, Jesus said. I can give them something to eat. Did Jesus want them to travel all the way down to town and pick up food for everybody? Jesus' friends panicked. "But we don't have enough money." "What food do you have?" Jesus asked. "Go and see." Now there was a little boy in the crowd. He had brought lunch that his mother had made for him that morning. He looked at his 5 loaves and 2 fish. It wasn't much, not nearly enough for 5,000, but it was all he had. "I have some," he said. Jesus' friends laughed when they saw his little lunch. "That's not nearly enough," they said. But they were wrong. Jesus knew it didn't matter how much the boy had. God would make it enough, more than enough. Jesus said, "Bring me what you have." And so the little boy gave Jesus his lunch. Jesus winked at the little boy and whispered in his ear, "Watch." "How in the world will Jesus feed everyone with just that?" his friends said, because they thought it was impossible. But Jesus knew the one who made the fish in all the oceans. And Jesus knew the one who at the very beginning had made everything out of nothing at all. How hard would something like this be for someone like that? Jesus took the little boy's lunch, looked up to heaven, and thanked his Father. Then Jesus gave the little lunch back to his friends. As Jesus' friends started to hand out the food, do you know what? It was the strangest thing. No matter how much they broke off, there was always more, and more, and more. Enough for 5,000. Everyone ate as much as they wanted. Second helpings, third helpings, and even fourths, until they were full. And still there were leftovers. Well, Jesus did many miracles like this, things people thought couldn't happen and weren't natural. But it was the most natural thing in the world. It's what God had been doing from the beginning, of course. Taking the nothing and making it everything. Taking the emptiness and filling it up. Taking the darkness and making it light. I hope you all enjoyed that story as much as I did, and I hope it made you think about how sharing shows you care. Now here's Miss Mary with a fun craft.
Hi friends, good morning. That was a great story, Miss Stephanie. Let's do an activity that goes along with that story. For this activity, we're going to need some pipe cleaners. If you have string, go ahead and get some string. I don't have string, so I'm using extra pipe cleaners. We're going to need a piece of construction paper, 5 pasta noodles. Make sure that they have the hole in them. We're going to string them through our pipe cleaners, and 1 sandwich bag, and a pair of scissors. We're going to show how Jesus made enough food to feed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. With our piece of construction paper, we're going to cut out 2 fish. In those fish, we're going to make 2 little holes at the top, and then that way we can string them through one of our pipe cleaners. Now with our 5 noodles, which represent the 5 loaves of bread that Jesus used to feed 5,000 people, we're going to string those through our pipe cleaners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to take another pipe cleaner and wrap it around so that this is big enough to fit as a necklace for me. Now I have my necklace to represent the 2 fish and the 5 loaves of bread that Jesus used to feed 5,000 people. Next, we're going to make a picnic basket out of our bag. Take your bag, cut a hole in the top through both sides, open it up, take your last pipe cleaner, and loop it through the hole. Now we have our fish and a picnic basket and our bread to go on a picnic. Sharing is caring, and Jesus always showed us that he cared by sharing not only his food, but his hope, love, and grace with us. We love you, Crosspoint kids.
Hey Crosspoint kids, my name is Miss Erin. I'm here to share with you a couple of ideas for games you can play that have to do with sharing, because sharing is caring. So first thing I have is a word find. If you like word searches, here's one about the boy who shared his food with Jesus and the 5,000 people. What I really like about this word find is that you have to find loaves 5 times and fishes twice. Pretty fun, huh? If you want to find this, you can go to the links that go with this video, or you can go to BibleWise.com and find it for yourself. If you're not a big fan of crossword puzzles, I have a different idea for you. Do you remember those Easter eggs that you had laying around just a few weeks ago? Well, you can get those back out and you can do a backwards Easter egg hunt. That's right, instead of you finding the Easter eggs, you can share some fun ideas with your parents and then hide them, and then your parents can find them. Let's think of some ideas of things you can put in those Easter eggs. Let's see what's in the green egg. Let's see, you could put a note about how cool your parents are. You make me smile. You make me smile. What else could we use? You could find a treasure and you could put in the Easter egg. I have a lot of these dandelions in my yard. They make for pretty flowers, don't they? What else could we find? Oh, I've got another note. We could write, we could be a helpful person. We could write an IOU. I could help set the table for dinner tonight. And I have one more idea. You know Mom has a stash of chocolate hidden away, right? You could put a treat in the Easter egg, just like the Easter Bunny put one in the Easter egg for you. So there's an idea for a way to do some sharing too. Time for some praying.
Hey Crosspoint kids, let's take a minute and share some prayer time. Please bow your head and repeat after me. God, I know you control everything and share everything with us. Sometimes I don't share even when I could. Thank you for sharing Jesus with us because you care and love us. Help me to show love and caring by sharing. Amen.
1, 2, 3.
We love you, Crosspoint kids.
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 Both of us.